All right, and boom, we're live. Episode 37. Can't believe we're already 37 episodes in. I'm Zach Drapo, host of MMA Complete. I will be joined later by the crew, Austin, Mark, and I think Rob's coming through. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds while we still have people entering the chat, entering the podcast. For anybody watching, UFC 259 was pretty crazy, huh? UFC 259 was definitely one of the most memorable cards that we've watched. That's for sure. Yeah. So we got a couple people in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Podcast is going to be a little bit longer than normal. Normally we actually go for a little bit less than an hour. Today we'll be going for about an hour 20, as I started a little bit earlier. You're watching MMA Complete, brought to you by SFBNRI. Check out all SFBNRI platforms on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, LinkedIn, Facebook especially. And we're also going to be starting a new brand. We're going to be co-founding another brand that will be on IG Live. The name of the new brand is Naked Sports. Naked Sports, uncut, uncensored. And wow, I should really know the tagline. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second and I will find that for you real quick. Apologies to SFBNRI. Not prepared. Just kind of throwing it to the fan. Uncensored, uncut, uncovered. Naked Sports coming to you soon. Brought to you by SFBNRI. MMA Complete will be moved to Naked Sports sooner rather than later, as will my upcoming podcast that I will be starting with one of my co-hosts, Austin Garvey. And it is Bet the Deed. Bet the Deed podcast will be your unattributed podcast to go for all sports betting, sports gambling, sports book related topics. We will be diving in headfirst on several different sports, especially UFC. We'll be talking a lot of football, some basketball, baseball, hockey. We'll be going through all the major sports. Bet the Deed podcast coming to you soon on Naked Sports. We're going to be taking a quick commercial break. We will be right back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As I see people are still kind of getting into the chat. So leave us questions, comments, anything you want to say for the show. All right, and we're back. MMA Complete, episode 36. So what we're going to be talking about first today is UFC 259. We're going to talk about a couple of the fight nights because there are a lot of fight nights, especially one coming up this weekend, March 13th. That's really exciting, and it kind of came out of nowhere. We'll get into that very shortly after I kind of have like a little introduction. We're going to be diving into UFC 260 for the first time. We talked about a little bit, especially the main events over the last couple of weeks, but we haven't talked about it that much, obviously because of the fact that UFC 259 just happened, so we didn't want to skip one pay-per-view to get to the next, and it was probably a good thing we didn't because there's so much to talk about for UFC 259. It was a crazy card. It was absolutely entertaining from the early prelims, the first fight of the early prelims, all the way to the main event with some definitely with some really good considerations as far as fight goes in between. A little bit later towards the main event, we saw probably the most controversial UFC fight we've seen in years. So we're going to be talking about that a lot. And if you don't know, I'm talking about the bantamweight title fight between the then champ Petr Yan and the then challenger Aljamain Sterling. You hear me say then because the title did switch hands. Title switched hands from Petr Yan to Aljamain Sterling, but it was by a disqualification. A little bit of technical difficulty. Sorry about that. The likes of which a title changing hands by disqualification, I do not believe has ever happened in the UFC. Let's see. Sportskeeda.com is reporting that it was the first time the UFC title has switched hands because of a disqualification. So there you go. It's the first time, which obviously is going to drum up some controversy. What is even more controversial that I don't have too much of an opinion on, I will be sure to give you my opinion along with the opposing argument. The point that is very controversial was the decision to stop the fight by referee Mark Smith, which Mark Smith is a very experienced referee who's been in title fights before and does have very good instinct and most of the time has great judgment calls when it comes to fights. And was his hands tied when he made this decision to disqualify Petr Yan because of his illegal knee strike while Sterling's knees were on the ground? Was it a good decision? Watching the fight live and watching it unfold, watching Sterling barely be able to get to his feet, I would say that Mark Smith had no other option than to call the fight where he did. The fight ended in the middle to the back half of the fourth round. Sterling had already taken a beating. He was he had been knocked down once. He'd been taken down several times, and in our opinion at MMA Complete, he was very exhausted. Now, he was in a bad way before the knee, but once Petr Yan kneed Sterling in the face illegally, Aljamain Sterling could not get back to his feet. He was laying down for a number of minutes. Then he sat up for a couple seconds and laid back down. The doctor came in and tried to get a workup on him, was unable to. And due to the fact that Sterling showed no ability to carry on, and because of the fact that the knee that Petr Yan delivered onto Sterling to cause the events that was Sterling laying down, unable to get up, the disqualification was the right move to do. I have no problem with it. I realize that it's going to be a speculatory issue that a lot of people are going to comment and say their opinion on Twitter. The fact of the matter is, Yan delivered an illegal knee. That illegal knee incapacitated his opponent to the point where he could not continue the match. The biggest point of contention, because it was unprecedented, because no UFC champion had ever delivered a illegal strike to that caliber. Now, mind you, you can't really measure how illegal a shot was compared to another. For instance, UFC 252 was headlined by the trilogy fight between Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. In the second fight months prior, Daniel Cormier came under wraps because he had poked Miocic in the eye 3 times during the fight. In their fight at UFC 252, which was, if my memory serves me correctly, September, Miocic then, almost blindingly so, poked Cormier in the eye, but the fight continued. The fight continued at the discretion of Mark Goddard, who later admitted that he should have taken a closer look at Cormier's eye because it came after further review. It was an illegal poke in the eye by Miocic. In the rule books, in the UFC rule books of what can and cannot happen and what should be considered to be a violation and a point deduction by referees, a poke in the eye and a knee to the face while the person who took the knee was on the ground with a knee on the ground is the same amount of illegal. There isn't something that says, A knee to a opponent on the ground is worth 2-point deductions, and a poke in the eye is worth 1, or a warning. It doesn't work like that. It's the referee's discretion, and it most of the time comes down to, can the fighter continue? The referee's opinion, who consulted with the doctor who checked out Sterling while he was in the ring, was that the fighter could not continue. So that disqualification, in my books, is just. Now, the UFC needs to work on some sort of legislature, some sort of lawmaking that looks into whether the championship should change hands through a disqualification. Like we said, this was unprecedented. This is the first time a champion got disqualified and lost his belt because of it. There was also a little bit more controversy that was deduced by the broadcast team at UFC 259, that being Joe Rogan, John Anik, and Daniel Cormier, in which the corner of Petr Yan had a camera on them at the time of Yan's illegal knee strike. Now, there was one person in the corner saying no, no, no. And there was another person in the corner speaking in Russian, yes, yes, yes. Have those reports of someone in Yan's corner saying yes, yes, yes in another language to Yan, signifying an illegal strike, have those been confirmed? No. And it is very unlikely that it will be, due to the fact that multiple parties in Jan's corner did speak Russian. The camera angle showing Jan's corner was not just because of the face masks that everybody wears in the corner. You couldn't make out who said it. Will there be any investigation into it? I would imagine so, because listen, if you're a UFC champ, if you're the corner of a UFC champion, you have to know the rules. It's as simple as that. You have an obligation to know what you can and cannot do in the octagon, and what Yan did, he can't do. So he got disqualified. In my opinion, the title bet should not have changed hands, because Sterling did not win it, Yan lost it. Therefore, could there be a rule to have it vacated? Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Should there be a rule of a rematch once all medical clearings are handled? Because let's face it, Sterling's going to need time to heal. Probably. There is another development that I actually only just saw about 2 days ago. Aljamain Sterling has reported... Aljamain Sterling was asked whether he will have a rematch with Petr Yan. And it was either Aljamain's coach, Eric Nixick, or Aljamain himself, who said that they were disappointed in Yan. Like, what are you thinking? They also said that he's not 100% if they were going to finish the fight or whether they were going to call it there. Which is all standard. It's what you would expect for them to say. But that's where it should have ended. It did not end, because Aljamain Sterling was asked if they want a rematch, and Sterling says that he doesn't know if Yan deserves it. To Sterling's points, he did make fair comments where he said that Yan broke the rules, and because of that, he should have penalties, or he should have to have more fights before he is able to challenge for the title. Is that fair? Probably. But he is the champ, or he was the champ, excuse me. He's not even the champ anymore. He got DQ'd. Do most champions get a rematch? Yeah, I'm live.
Oh.
How's it going, guys? MMA Complete, episode 36 in the books. Boomer live. I got Austin Garvey, Rob Carton joining me in the studio. What up, what up?
What up? Can I sneak by and get
of course. Yeah. I also got chairs over there.
Might be easier that way. Oh, wait, no, the webcam.
I was going to say, I don't want to fuck that.
Yeah, sure.
Sneak by.
How's it going, Marcus?
What's up, Zach?
Not very much.
How was that? Did you get the chance to look at that yet?
Yeah, oh yeah, the article's great, man.
Okay, so it's not shitty?
No, dude, it's really good.
Thought I was missing numbers. And
No,
shit.
not at all. No, it was really good. I'm in the middle of talking about Yan and Sterling.
With whom?
We're live.
Oh,
Sterling.
hey guys.
Sterling is going to fight
He doesn't think
Henry Cejudo.
he doesn't think
That is
Jan
what is going to
should
happen.
rematch the title, and that's actually exactly where I was when you guys were walking.
It is going to
Okay.
piss Jan off, and then when Aljamain loses, it's like another fight before the championship fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Where'd
it
you hear
builds
that?
up that.
Where'd you hear that Cejudo's fighting Sterling?
Sterling called
Sterling
out
called him
Cejudo.
out.
Did Cejudo respond?
Unsure about that. But
Cejudo came
Yeah.
back.
Came back and
Not came
months
back,
away.
but he's not. He's announced that he's coming back.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
That would
Cejudo
be.
coming back. So that division's now crazy now.
Yeah, it was already. It's super packed with number one contenders.
Top 5 heavy.
I think
Not really.
I think that Jan will get the rematch first.
really,
I don't think so.
Well,
He's
one,
not the champ.
I think that
He beat his ass.
I think that Jan did beat Sterling up
obviously.
until that point. Two, I think that Jan deserves a title rematch because he was
the champ.
the champ. Now I know it was his first title defense, but he also had an 8-fight win streak going into that fight.
Mhm.
Third, I think it's the fight that makes the most money, and so Dana White's going to want to get Jan back in it. That's what I think.
And they want to see like an actual positive outcome instead of just remembering that knee.
I think the press they could do, especially if Sterling starts talking shit, I
Yeah.
think the press they could do on this fight would be
Oh,
unbelievable.
Jan's already talking shit. He thinks he's faked it.
Right. And I talked about that as
Do you
well.
think,
There's
do
a
you
lot
think,
of.
Do you think?
I don't
he
think
was
he
out-
faked it though.
I think it was exaggerated, but I don't think it was fake.
I don't think it. I think he
it
got a
was
concussion.
exaggerated.
I saw the only reason I saw him the next day in his house drinking
This is important.
tequila with a belt on and all his friends having a party. And I mean, I get it, you won the belt, but how concussed are you? But
concussion symptoms last up to 36 hours after
he
it
said he was
starts.
throwing up and shit after he
Right.
got back from the hospital.
And
so-
once you go to the hospital,
Dude,
if
he
you
got his ass beat.
once you go to the hospital,
That was
if
a
you
lost
check
fight.
out and you go back home, you are obviously free to do whatever you want to do. But it also,
Mm.
he just won the belt. Like, yeah, I'd party my ass off
He's
too.
got kneed in the forehead, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Illegally.
that was
I'd
pretty
probably be
illegal.
like laying in bed.
You see,
Illegal as shit.
What I thought, I thought Jan was trying to like, if Jan would have gotten some underhooks and lifted him up just to where his knee was off the ground and kneed him in the face, that would have been a highlight reel knockout. But the rules,
Right.
It's interesting because before that, when Sterling was doing that, it's like he wanted to kick him, but he didn't want to. Like if you watch that fight again, like
yeah,
because he was in that position more than once in that fight when he had a knee on the ground. If you watch it,
Mhm.
like he wanted to
Yeah, it
kick
was the
him,
second or third
but
time.
he didn't.
Are you
he, like,
saying
looked like he
Sterling
wanted-
wanted to kick him? Or
No,
Jan
no,
wanted
Jan
kick
wanted
him?
to kick Sterling when he was on the knee on the ground, and like he didn't.
Careful,
He didn't.
you're backing up into this mic, by the way.
Oh, poor Mike. Like he didn't, and then he fucking kneed him in the head.
Yeah.
Which I think
Um,
he might have been thinking that Sterling was coming, like he was like starting to stand up.
Look, anyway you want to defend
I
it.
don't know.
I agree with most of them because I do think it was a total accident. I don't think
I don't think it was
Jan.
on purpose.
I don't think
I think it
Jan
was on
was.
purpose.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose. I don't think Jan was
I don't think
totally
he
clear on the
knew.
rules, and I think that there was someone in Jan's corner telling him to knee him.
yeah.
Someone
maybe.
said the kick and he kneed. Like maybe I don't know.
Kicking
Maybe-
would have been the same
Thank God
outcome.
he didn't.
I
Thank
know,
God he didn't
but,
kick him
like,
in the face.
Maybe he
Jesus.
thought if he kneed him, it wouldn't.
Is kneeing someone in the face much worse in that
I,
position?
I just think like a full roundhouse kick.
You can't get a full
Oh.
roundhouse kick to that point because he's only that far away from your leg. A knee,
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, knee, dude. I think when
I know, and he had
not
the
only
back
is
of
it
his
more
head.
brutal, but it's like accurate. Like that shit went to his forehead.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have any bad bruising.
All right, so here's my second question. It was the second thing I brought up. I get we can't go in the past. What happened happened.
Yeah.
Would you guys be in favor of the UFC making a new rule regarding what happens to championships if the champion is disqualified? I.e., do you think that the championship should have changed hands?
Yeah, I think it should have.
What do you mean? Changed hands, like Sterling gets the belt.
I made up 2 points because there's only three options.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
now?
There's only three
yeah, you got
options.
DQ.
One, the champ gets DQ'd, he retains his title, they make a rematch. 2, the champ gets DQ'd, he gives the title, which is what happened at 259. 3, title gets vacated.
I'd like
Which
vacated
I
title.
think
Yeah.
a vacated title would be the best.
Yeah, that's the right move.
And it
Because-
looks weak for the division, but again, that's Dana White's just like, okay, now we got a vacated title. Now we got the rematch
So what
and
actually-
bad blood.
And hype for that fucking thing.
Press Sterling versus Jan, American versus Russian. Like, you could sell that shit,
Dude,
man.
And seeing the belt go to Sterling, like Sterling was noticeably losing that fight, especially towards the championship rounds.
But
You're gonna, I don't know.
so he was ahead on one of the cards.
Yeah, it was.
That is wild to me.
Now,
And
I
Chael Sonnen
made
talked about
points
that.
about that during
Chael
the fight about how Sterling was much more aggressive and he had more strikes, and that lands.
Burned him out.
And another thing is takedown defense, which was a huge part of that fight because Sterling was 13 of 14.
Yeah.
That doesn't
was
count
impressive.
towards judges' scorecards. Like it or not, because I don't like it. I think it should, but it doesn't count towards scorecards.
Takedown defense.
Takedown defense, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the one takedown Sterling had and the 6 that Jan had.
Yeah.
And like it or not, I don't like it, but judges have a rule book of what they're looking at. Takedown defense does not count towards their ruling.
Well, that makes sense. It is only a defensive move. Do you get points for blocking?
Now,
Yeah.
you don't get points for blocking. No, you
Yeah,
get points
so-
for landed strikes.
Yeah, that's what should matter.
So let me tell you guys this. Total strikes, Sterling had the advantage. Significant strikes, Sterling had the advantage. Takedowns, Jan was 7 for 7. Sterling was 1 for 17.
Wow, that's a lot of takedown attempts.
It's a lot.
But to the judge's scorecard, all that means is Sterling had 1 takedown, Jan had 7. That's the only numbers. It's not 1 to 17. It's just 1 to 7.
That's crazy that
It's crazy that
Sterling had more.
Yeah,
He was
that-
much more aggressive. He was much more aggressive. If you look at round 1, where, by the way, Jan knocked down Sterling.
Yeah.
Sterling
so
had
much
like
more power.
30 strikes to like 6. It was really that different. Jan was accurate, crisp. He had a knockdown, but Sterling had much more output.
My saying to that is championship rounds.
That would have been nice to see.
It would have.
It-
Well, we did.
Yeah,
we
but-
saw
And
3
we saw
minutes.
what,
of
we
one.
saw
Saw
what
3
we saw what was
3
going to
minutes of
happen
one.
before the knee.
You
We
can't
all-
say that though. You
No,
can't say
we
we saw
know-
what was going to happen.
we
Those-
saw what was
we
going to
can-
happen
we can
before the
assume.
knee.
And make it.
We
outside
could
of
assume,
me.
right?
But like those
All right,
takedowns that Sterling was throwing were getting kind of
Yeah.
fucking weaker
Yeah,
than the
Absolutely.
first ones.
Well,
the first ones were like
I'm
Jan was doing good, really good defense.
95% sure Sterling was going to lose that fight if he didn't knee him.
Mm-hmm.
95% sure
Right.
he was winning that fight.
Right.
That's my point. That's my
Okay. And that goes to my point of should Sterling have gotten the belt?
championship rounds. Like
Vacated.
that's why
That's really the best.
I think it should have been vacated.
Sterling was gassed
because I
in the
honestly,
third round.
the champion
Yes.
definitely deserved to lose it either way.
I believe that a couple things deserve to happen. 1, Jan deserves to be fined. 2, there deserves to be an investigation into his corner. Now, whether that's UFC, whether that's some governing state body not following state athletic laws because you can't knee someone in the face, that's a state athletic law. That's not just the UFC law. I think those 2 deserve to happen. 3, I think a rematch deserves to happen. I'm not the booker though, so that's an opinion.
It's speculated. Dana White said in the post-fight press conference he wants to get it done. So
I can't see why
He
not.
says that
Yeah.
about everything.
But the other thing is Sterling deserves to have like 4 or 5 months off. That's another
Yeah.
thing. I think he deserves to get his rest. I think he deserves to get his head in the right way.
concussion protocol.
Absolutely.
So 6 months suspension, medical suspension. I think that should definitely happen.
Yeah.
If it happens into fights that don't get DQ, that should be 6 months medical
I
suspension.
wouldn't be opposed to that. The only thing is no champion's ever been medically suspended.
That no champion's ever become champion by getting kneed in the fucking face.
Yeah.
You're right. This is the first time
Well,
ever.
12 to 6 elbows.
No, that wasn't a champ though.
John Jones wasn't a champ.
That was 2 years before he would challenge for the belt, much less be champion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is the first time a belt ever switched hands by DQ.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, vacated the belt. Maybe that it should be a rule because it never happens. And when it does happen, it's like, oh shit.
No,
That's
we saw
right.
we saw how much of a mockery it was to everybody that Jermaine Sterling got the belt, and he was out. Yeah, I know. I just shorted it, but
Okay.
you can tell he
I
wasn't
think-
happy when he got it the way it happened.
Yeah.
He was happy afterwards.
And if you
Well,
ask me, and I'm not a medical professional, but I have consulted with some medical professionals that say that
Did
his
you?
yes,
Oh yeah.
and his actions and behavior right after the fight, i.e., his body language, the fact he was crying, the fact he was looking at everybody
Everything,
with
yeah.
question. He took the belt off right away, didn't even talk to Dana, walked right out of the cage. That's signs of confusion and delusions, and that can be attributed to concussion. which, given the fact that he just got kneed in the fucking face and couldn't stand up for 4 minutes afterwards,
Well, he was
you can
about to get TKO'd.
you can assume that he had a
And then
concussion,
No, I could assume. Yeah, I definitely said that he had a concussion.
which we all said.
But we also got to think, how many concussions did Stipe get from getting hit by Ngannou?
None that were ever exhibited.
Documented. Yeah, none that were
Documented, right, but none that were exhibited either. He was hands held high, celebrating with his team
I'm not
after
saying
the
it's
fight.
Sterling's fault at all. Nothing is on Sterling.
Of course, right.
But you got to think like how many concussions these guys get standing up. That the fight continues, the fight goes on.
Right.
And Jan should have. I really do think Jan was just waiting for that knee to come up to get the highlight reel.
Well,
And
and
he totally fucked that up.
of course he did. He should have waited longer.
Yeah.
He should've
Now,
just kept punching him. Like,
I
he was doing.
saw an argument, and this is, I believe, a lousy argument, but an argument nonetheless, of the fact that Sterling shouldn't have just been sitting there trying to elongate the fight. He should have been trying to fight. And I can see that point because they were in that position for a good 6 seconds, which fight time is a little bit longer than me and you associate with 6
Oh
seconds.
yeah, like some type of like pausing
Right, like he was
like a ref.
it was the same thing that we saw earlier when he was on his back and Jan was standing up saying like, get the fuck up.
Yeah, the ref should have stepped in, separated those.
Right, but
occasions.
it wasn't long enough for the ref to step in.
Do you know what the time on that is? Is it like 10 seconds without any contact?
It's judge's discretion.
Okay.
There's
The ref's discretion. Or ref's.
Yes, ref's discretion, excuse me. And Mark Smith, who is the ref, is a very experienced, very good ref
He is
with a really good resume.
that poor guy.
All right, Herb Dean.
Herb
These
Dean.
round refs.
Yep.
Why has he been fucking up a lot?
What did he fuck up? I feel like we saw something that it was like
He didn't call a fight. He didn't call
that's what it was. The
he didn't call
Kai
it was-
Kara France
yeah,
versus
the guy
Rogerio
threw the
Bontorin.
mouthpiece at him.
That was hilarious. He got dropped and then he threw his mouthpiece at him.
Yeah.
I don't think that was too bad of a mess up. I think it was just awkward.
I don't know if it was a mess up because I'm pretty sure Herb Dean got in the way
Yeah,
of
the-
Kara France, which can be associated as a stoppage. But then Herb Dean wasn't like over the guy who got knocked out. He was just kind of on the side of him, which is why Kara France was like,
Yo, do I gotta?
the fuck?
Yeah, but
Do we
he's
gotta
been
go?
like messing up.
But then
like,
when Kara
a lot.
France, like Herb Dean did his job.
Yeah.
He totally did his job.
Yeah,
He went
get
to
the
go
guy
back.
away. The guy did not get punched.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he did his job completely right, but it's just like,
He-
dude,
It was awkward.
He
like
definitely,
wave your hands, like it's done. Like,
yeah, he could have done that.
don't just be like, he was like this, and then like, if he didn't look up, that guy was coming in.
Yeah.
And the last time you're talking about was when he was it was a women's fight, and it looked like he touched, to separate, but he was just leaning over.
Yeah.
That was the only other mess up I can remember.
That was definitely something. I don't know. Herb Dean's been in it for a long time, man. Like he
Yeah.
deserves a benefit of the doubt, but if he keeps doing these small mistakes, how long does he get that benefit of the doubt?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy the amount of? I guess it's not crazy when you think about how long the UFC's been going on, but the turnover we've seen for refs, like Herb Dean's the last like
OG.
vet. I guess Dan Ragliotta's still going strong sometimes. Who's the other guy?
Herb Dean just
Steve Mazzagatti is in Bellator. He's been reffing for a long time. Used to ref for the UFC, but like now you have that guy with the fucking cool ass beard.
Yeah.
Two things. You got Mark Goddard, Mark Smith. Herb Dean's like the only one left.
You think will ever see fighters become refs or no?
No, I don't think refs get paid nearly enough for a fighter. I mean, unless it's like someone who used to fight and now they're just like, I don't want to fight anymore, but I still want to be in the game.
It'd be pretty cool if GSP was a ref.
Yeah, I don't think that would ever happen.
That would be so weird.
Can I get into
And then he
something?
gets into
Talking
a
about
fight.
GSP?
All right. Yeah. I'll hear it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you for watching MMA Complete, brought to you by SFBNRI.
You're gonna leave him on
Check
a
out all
cliff note?
SFBNRI platforms, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Check out MMA Complete on YouTube and on Twitter. And follow Naked Sports, which will be live streaming on IG Live next week. We'll be right back. Thank you. Shit.
I kind of hope Jake Paul can, because I hope he can actually get into more fights. This way here he does get his ass beat.
Right.
I mean,
You
Ben
know-
Askren's not. He's a world champion wrestler.
Right.
He's not a boxer.
Absolutely.
So if Jake Paul can actually get into boxing, he's gonna get his.
Oh,
ass
Jake
handed
Paul's
to him.
already
he's
been
in.
into it.
Oh, he's
into
in it. Oh, he's in it.
Now
Oh,
I
he's been
share
in it
your
for 3
same way.
years.
He's
Against
beaten a
What? He's
YouTuber.
beaten nobodies.
bums.
And
Yeah,
an
he's beaten-
That
and
so
NBA
if
player.
he beats Ben
Inexperienced
Askren, they're
guys.
gonna accept it.
Right.
They're gonna accept him.
But here's the thing: if that does happen and he gets accepted,
Yeah.
then he's going to actually have to fight amateur boxers.
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
not fighting celebrities anymore.
No.
No celebrity's going to want to box him.
He's gonna have a fucking ass beating when he actually gets into real boxing.
Can I point one thing out?
I want to say something after this too about boxing.
If
Fights.
if he beats Ben Askren, which I'm not ruling out, it's very likely that Floyd passes up on Logan and goes straight to Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
supposedly still happening. But
It could supposedly still happen all
No,
he wants. If Jake Paul's going to
somebody
get
got
more money
involved.
for Floyd,
Yeah,
he's
but-
going to go to Jake Paul.
Logan,
Floyd
somebody
Mayweather.
got involved on the whole Logan Paul fucking Mayweather fight. I forget the guy's name. He's a big person in boxing.
Mhm.
He's into pretty much every boxing fight that's gonna make pay-per-view.
Max Kellerman.
I don't think it's Kelly.
No, he does have a lot of experience. Though.
I forget who
That's
it
the hell
was.
out of me.
If you heard the name, you'd probably already fucking know it. I don't really
Right.
remember the guy's name. But that's why it ended up getting canceled, because he wanted to gain more views so they could make more money.
And I'm sure it was part of it that was like, we want to get people in the crowd too.
Yeah, that's COVID thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to find the right spot.
What were you going to say?
Anthony Ruiz.
Wow.
Anthony Ruiz is facing
Hmm?
Wilder.
Has that been
Damn,
scheduled?
Wilder.
It's been booked.
It's in
Really?
the making. Yeah.
Now Fury Joshua hasn't even been booked yet.
Fuck Fury.
Oh yeah, but that's happening.
Right.
You.
Like
We
it's,
don't
like,
agree
with
it's
that.
not.
Dude.
Yeah, but it's happening.
Fucking love
Like,
You don't like
and
Tyson
that's-
Fury?
Deontay Wilder is
Yeah,
the
fuck
Bronze
Wilder.
Bomber. Yeah, he was
Sorry.
cocky. He had an amazing story, but
No,
he really did
I
lose
seen
those
that
two
fight
fights.
between Wilder and Fury, and I not to be racist, but I didn't like the black guy.
We were
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it at work today. Anthony Ruiz.
He's definitely
versus
cocky.
Deontay
That's
Wilder.
why
Well,
I
they're
like him.
both cocky, actually.
Yeah,
Now,
but
how do
Fury
you see
has
that
like more of like
Who?
like
Anthony
pride
Ruiz.
versus,
Right.
culture
Wilder's
versus
more
Deontay
like,
Wilder.
I'm going to fuck
I got
everybody
Deontay
up.
Wilder.
I feel
Oh
it.
yeah.
Deontay Wilder over Anthony Ruiz? God,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. That's what I mean.
God,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Well,
Wasn't it Andy Ruiz?
You never
Yeah,
know.
it is.
with him.
It is Andy Ruiz.
Andy?
Yeah,
Andy
I thought it
Ruiz.
was
Anthony Joshua is the guy he beat that one time. At
Oh yeah,
Logan, too.
Anthony Joshua.
Did Joshua fight Wilder?
No.
Okay.
He's about to fight Fury.
Ruiz did. You're right.
Yeah.
Ruiz and Joshua are
He
1-1.
won. Yeah.
What was I just gonna say? Wilder could be like, he got a new coach. He has a new camp. He's never been trained with them.
Mhm.
He's going into his first fight after getting knocked the fuck out in front of millions of people after never losing. He's
Coming in
33
with
now.
A ridiculous attire. Ridiculous.
Here's the one thing though. Andy Ruiz is like 6'2",
Yeah.
Wilder was like 6'9".
He's 6'7", I thought. 6'7".
I think he.
Yeah,
I'll look
he's
it up.
6'9". That's just a scary
No,
person.
that's Fury. Fury 6'9".
Yeah, Fury's a big
No.
fucker.
I think
Or maybe
I
7
think
feet.
Wilder's taller.
Really?
I know they're both around that though.
Yeah, they're both giants.
Wilder is 6'7",
Fury's
Fury's 6'8", maybe.
6'9".
probably 6'9". Andy Ruiz Jr. 6'2".
Jesus.
Dude,
God.
that's quite the
That's a
reach.
height
Dude,
difference.
that's
Yeah.
a height.
Let's check reach.
No, but
Height
I'm
and
saying
reach,
fucking
reach.
Wilder's
Oh.
reach is gonna be way.
Oh, he already
74?
has the long ass arms.
That's what I mean. Like,
it. 83.
Yeah, 9-inch reach
Oh my
advantage for
God,
Wilder.
that's
guy's
what.
gonna
See,
die.
that's my point. If
This
he's
guy's
taller,
gonna
then
die.
he's gonna have a bigger reach. Like,
He's gonna die.
I don't know. Ruiz, that's how Ruiz
He
has
gets in
probably
the
had to
pocket?
fight. Yeah, gets in there and just throws big overhands.
Tyson Fury is 6'9" and has the same reach as John Jones. Just want to say.
That's fucking nuts.
Mm.
John Jones
Really?
is
John
6'4".
Jones 6.
has the same reach. That's kind of fucking.
John Jones has pterodactyl arms.
He does.
Like in high school, he's walking down the hallway.
Dragon.
His hands are dragging. They're touching the ground. You know what I mean?
So Anthony Joshua fight against Tyson Fury has not been announced, right?
Well, I know who's built like him,
Like who?
like John Jones.
Who's built like Kevin Holland? Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Holland. I'm excited
Kevin
to see him
Holland has
fight
a
again.
Crazy reach. Knock some guy out on his back.
Yeah. Mayor Rodriguez.
You guys want Want to start talking about fight nights? Because I wanted to get into that soon.
Well, what round do you think it goes to?
What?
The Wilder Ruiz fight.
5.
5 rounds.
That's a safe bet.
Andy Ruiz can knock
7.
out like an uppercut, catching Wilder swinging for a hook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz has power, man. He wouldn't have dropped Joshua if he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
he drop
He
him with
also
body shots?
wouldn't be relevant as relevant as he is, if he didn't beat Joshua, which I have to say was a huge upset.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it also could be likely that he's in over his head, which is, in my unexpert opinion, probable. Ruiz is also older than Wilder, I'm fairly certain.
If he beats him, oh my god.
That would be impressive. Wilder's just got that power.
I'm
in the
lying
range.
again. Ruiz is 4 years younger than Wilder.
35.
Wilder's 35, Ruiz 31.
He's 35.
Joshua's 31, Tyson Fury 32.
No, in his prime.
The Bronze Bomber from Alabama.
Don't wear a freaking 40-pound vest. You
Yeah, for
stupid
real.
idiot.
Or get drugged by a cornerman. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
He threw up
That's
him and Paulo Costa should get a fucking media consulting business together about excusing fights.
Too much wine.
That was hilarious.
Too
I'm
much
like, first
wine.
off, the night before a fight, who's drinking anything
You ain't
other
drinking
than
wine.
water?
You're trying to cut weight, you dummy.
No, you're not trying to cut weight anymore. You're trying to put on weight.
Oh yeah,
Water,
you're trying to put
water,
on
water.
weight. Yeah, what are you trying? You're drunk.
All right,
You're gonna get drunk. You're so dehydrated.
March
You're drinking
13th, 2 days away. Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad.
Ooh.
We also have Misha Serkov versus and a light heavyweight battle between 2 ranked light heavyweights. I'm so behind the ball today. I don't have my rankings up. I didn't have my events up.
All right, while you're doing that, I'll say something. If Leon Edwards dominates this fight with the win, not even dominates, but just like wins like pretty easily, do you think that he gets a title shot? Dana White says that he should.
No, I don't.
What?
No.
What
Well, here,
class is he
can
from?
I-
Yeah.
welterweight.
Welterweight. Okay.
Can I give you 2 reasons why? One, I see unparalleled comparisons between Leon Edwards and Charles Oliveira. Both on 8-fight win streaks. Both didn't fight for about a year. Both fighting top contenders, although actually that's not true. Edwards is fighting a worse contender than Oliveira did. Oliveira fought Tony Ferguson, who was 4. Edwards is fighting 3. Oliveira isn't getting a title shot yet, and I don't think Edwards is either, because Edwards above Edwards is Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns is going to need to win something. But Jorge Masvidal is behind them, and Masvidal is looking like he's going to get the next title shot anyway.
Yeah, for the sellout. That makes sense.
I got it.
Pains you?
It pains me, and you know exactly
And
why.
I called it.
And you know, Colby deserves a title shot.
He does.
I know.
He totally
And
does.
and want to know what I think?
I think Colby should fight Jorge.
I think exactly. Not even. I think that before
I think
he gets
Kobe
a title
would
shot.
fucking really.
But
I
what,
don't-
you're gonna
I don't know.
hold- you're
That's a
holding-
good stand-up battle.
You're holding up the champion. You're holding up the guy. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
You're holding up the division, kind of.
That being said, Colby Masvidal was supposed to happen in December. If the UFC wanted to do that, it would have been done by now.
Yeah.
Which means that they're looking for his next fight, and they know what a draw Masvidal is. Masvidal is way more of a draw than Colby.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Colby is
Went
like,
5 rounds with him on short notice.
even though Colby is very polarizing
Yeah.
with his political stigma about him
Hmm.
and his ability to shit talk everybody about anything. He goes on Twitter and shit talk LeBron James. For
It's-
God's sakes.
It's so annoying.
It's
but,
annoying,
hey,
but
he's a
LeBron
great
James
fighter.
shit talks back to him. So.
it's annoying, but it's popular and
Yeah,
people
it's clever.
see it.
Yeah.
And Jorge is still more popular.
Oh yeah, it's three piece in a soda. That's why he should fight Leon Edwards after.
Biscuit.
That's why he should fight Leon Edwards. That
Covington,
fight.
Covington versus Edwards?
No,
Oh,
Edwards
Masvidal.
versus Masvidal.
Yeah.
3 piece in a soda. That's the guy he punched backstage
Yeah,
after he knocked out
that's a
Darren
good little
Till.
grudge match, but
That is sick.
I don't think Masvidal wants it because he could make more money fighting.
He
Champ.
silenced that crowd. Silenced that crowd when he knocked out Darren
Oh
Till.
yeah,
I think it's likely that Masvidal's next fight is Usman. The second most likely is Colby. The third most likely is Nate Diaz. And I don't see him
Nate
fighting
Diaz.
anybody else because I think at this point Jorge's money and
Career,
championships.
yeah. The career's kinda coming
Masvidal
to an
is he could fight a lot of people.
He could, but I don't think he would.
He could fight more people than Conor right now.
Honor.
I don't
It's
know.
close.
I don't
It's
know.
close.
Lightweight division is a lot more
You're talking about-
stacked.
But you're talking about Conor McGregor. You're talking about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, Jorge
I think-
Masvidal. There's a big leap even for that. And like
And who's
Jorge Masvidal
who's
has
ahead
a
on
lot
that?
of opportunity. Who's ahead on that leap?
Yeah.
Conor.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Jorge.
Dude, it's
Okay.
not even close.
Okay.
It's not even close. But Jorge Masvidal, I mean, you can make 4 or 5 fights even.
I
with
would
him.
love to see Jorge versus Conor.
Jorge
I just
versus
want to
Stephen
say that.
Thompson's
Oh,
not a
that'd
bad
be
fight
cool.
either.
I want to see Jorge
Wonder Boy?
That'd be a
versus.
good fight. Masvidal versus Conor.
I don't know who would win that fight.
No, that's what I was just about to say. That's
170?
I think it
170.
Yeah, 170. I'm thinking Masvidal.
I'm thinking Masvidal.
Now,
too.
mind you, 170 is the weight class where Conor absolutely steamrolled Cerrone.
Cowboy,
Cowboy.
I think that Masvidal's a better striker than Cowboy.
Yeah, and did he beat?
Yeah, no, he is
Did he beat Nate Diaz at 170?
by Dr. Stoppage in the third round for the BMF title.
So he's 2-0 at 170.
Motherfucker.
No.
Stoppage.
Conor.
Oh, Conor.
Did he beat Nate Diaz at
No.
170 or was that one?
Conor was a weak notice, lost at welterweight. They went to lightweight, and Conor won
By decision.
by decision,
Yeah. Diaz choked.
unanimous decision.
Diaz is a fucking bull.
He's a bull. Him and Jorge would sell. That would be a great fight.
They needed that rematch for the BMF after the doctor
Diaz
stoppage.
only
They
lost
should
the
have
fight
done
3
that.
times this
They
year.
really should have. Except Jorge could move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah,
I would like
exactly.
to see
It's a big draw.
Jorge Stephen Thompson, Jorge Leon Edwards is a fight. Jorge
Is this all?
Gilbert Burns is a fight.
Are you thinking this all because you're thinking Colby and Usman is a fight? So Jorge wouldn't fight Colby? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I agree what you said earlier. Like that fight would have been made already.
Right.
So I think, I don't think that is the fight.
So where does Colby go?
Leon Edwards would be.
I
I think Kobe
think-
smashes him.
I think that's a good option.
Kobe number 4.
Number one.
He's number 1 contender.
Yes.
Why doesn't he go Usman?
Can't. They
Because
just lost,
Usman makes
and
more
like-
money in Masvidal. And
Yeah,
Dana
that's-
White knows that. That's why.
That's the marketing.
Yeah.
Not only that, but
Usman stop. Usman
this
wants to
is-
stop.
and this is it's an opinion, but of all the guys in the welterweight division, who would Usman be the most worried about?
Covington. Yeah.
Colby.
Easy.
Yeah, because he had a broken jaw and he's still coming at him.
Usman broke his jaw in the 3rd round, and Colby won the 4th round.
That's crazy.
Colby won 2-2 going into the 5th round when Usman won the 5th round in its entirety, but only got the stoppage with 40 seconds left.
I would love to see an Usman. I really think they should have pushed the amount of shit talking that went on between them two. They could have a really big grudge match.
Here's the thing.
Usman doesn't
It's
want to face him.
it's widely known, and that's what I was getting at. And we can't say that for sure because obviously we don't know, but
That was his toughest fight.
it was his toughest fight by far.
by far his toughest fight yet.
And I do realize that he did just get knocked down by Gilbert Burns and he got rocked, but he was able to overcome that.
He
so
recovered
quickly.
quick.
So quick.
Dude, he did. I watched that replay today. Holy shit, he got rocked. He got walloped
Yeah,
in the jaw.
he got mollywopped.
He got walloped.
We're going to take another quick commercial break. This will probably be our last one before the show's end. You're watching MMA Complete, brought to you by SFBNRI. Check out all SFBNRI platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Check out MMA Complete on YouTube and on Twitter, especially on our live streams to follow the show. And also check out Naked Sports on IG Live.
And all that shit.
All that, yeah, sorry. Boom, we're live.
Boom.
Milking it like Aljamain Sterling. So coming up in 2 days, you got Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Leon Edwards, number 3, welterweight contender. Bilal Muhammad, number 13. Like I mentioned, you have Serkinov Span in the light heavyweight division. Serkinov is 11. Span is 13, light heavyweight. And then you also have a couple other notable names, such as Eric Andrews versus Darren Stewart. You got Dan Ige fighting Gavin Tucker.
Gavin Tucker.
And that looks about it for the big names. We also, in 2 weeks, have the return of Kevin Holland fighting Derek Brunson. That is a huge fight in the middleweight division. Can I say something?
Great fight.
I think Holland's going to lose.
Yeah, Derek Brunson's.
I think Holland's going to lose. The reason I think Holland's going to lose is because two things.
Rob, what are the numbers?
I couldn't tell you, but I kind of agree.
Kevin Holland was a hype train in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what he did was super impressive. He won 5 fights in a row in 7 months.
Yeah.
5 fights in 7 months. He beat 2 names of noteworthy in those 5 wins. One, he beat Jacare, who's 42.
Yeah.
And hasn't gotten a win in like 2 years.
That's true.
And he beat the guy with the knockout of the year, the spinning kick.
Oh, yeah, Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah. Who arguably that's his only
the best fighter.
Right.
Got lucky. That's a 1 in 100 million kick.
So, and now he's going up against Derek Brunson, who's number 7, who's been experienced, who's been in the UFC for 8 years, who can knock you out. Derek Brunson's power is not to be underestimated.
No.
And he can take a punch.
Do you know the height differential?
Wait, yeah. What's the height?
Let me check that out. I know that the reach is 4 inches. Height is 1 inch.
Oh, wow. This guy's got
so Holland doesn't have too much of an advantage. Derek Brunson's also 37. Kevin Holland's 28.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I'm not officially predicting Kevin Holland loses, but my gut's telling me he will.
So it's surprisingly closer, and I'm suspecting more people bet on Kevin Holland closer to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But the numbers are surprisingly closer. He's minus 170 right now.
Yeah, that's what I would have figured.
So,
I'd say
Derek Brunson's plus 145.
I'd say Derek Brunson's a safe bet for that.
I wouldn't say it's safe.
Yeah, well, if you like those odds,
right?
As we get closer to the fight too, I see Brunson going up.
I see him being like plus 165 because the hype of Kevin Holland.
They're definitely going to push Kevin Holland.
Yeah, they're definitely going to push Kevin Holland.
And
by the way, Derek Brunson is coming off a win over Edmund Shabazian. Edmund Shabazian was the other, this guy's going to be up next in the middleweight division. He was 11-0 and he lost.
This is interesting. Go to Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill got bopped by TMZ. He's got COVID.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, that fight's off.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I have
plus 240. Paul Craig's plus 240, dude.
It's a shame.
That is crazy. I like Paul Craig.
I have an unimpeachable source actually for that information. She told me.
Really?
Swear to God.
Wow.
And so Jamal Hill, who is 7-0 and is light heavyweight, and he's actually making a big fucking name for himself. He just beat someone, I can't remember, but he does have COVID, so that fight's off for 420.
Can you go to Paul Craig's win loss? I'm sorry. Rob should be doing this, honestly. I was just sitting there.
I'm a viewer.
I'm messing
with this guy.
In-person viewer, bro. This is your code.
Yeah, tickets.
Tickets.
$100.
There you go. Paul Craig.
He got a 2-fight win streak. Won by submission, triangle choke. To who?
He beat Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Well, I think
Kennedy Nzechukwu is the guy who beat Carlos Ulberg on 259.
Yeah, that's a notable one.
He got a jaw to Mauricio Shogun Rua. I don't know.
When was
How do you say it?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was terrible.
How do you say it? He says Mauricio Rua.
Rua, there you go.
Rua.
No,
Mauricio
that's
Rua.
wrong, actually.
It's like an H. It's a Hua.
All right. Anytime you see Mauricio Hua, it's Shogun Hua.
Yeah. Shogun Hua.
There you go. Or just Shogun. Or just Shogun.
All right, Shogun.
Or just Hua.
Paul Craig versus
November 2019, they drew, and then Paul Craig beat Shogun November 2020.
He has 4 wins in a row, and he has a lot by submission.
Yet? Or is Shogun retired?
Shogun has not fought since November, and there's no.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Probably not.
Yeah.
He's not even that old, dude. He's like 36.
Yeah, but the damage that guy's taken, man.
Yeah.
He was there in the old UFC, man.
He was Pride. Pride. He was like one of the first light heavyweight Grand Prix winners in Pride history.
He was amazing, Pride.
He had a war with Vanderlei Silva back in the day.
We're getting a little off track. We're getting a little off track.
Yeah, well, we have an hour 20 pod today. All right, we can get a little.
No,
off track.
but I'm just saying we are. I do like Paul Craig at plus 240. I think that's a really interesting bet.
I know we are doing it to the live stream. I don't want to talk too much about bets. We
We're
got a
doing
podcast coming up next week. No, we're not.
Yeah,
doing it. We're not doing it. No, we're not.
The pod.
But right, the pod, we're doing it. Yeah,
We're doing
We're
it.
not. We're just not talking about the numbers too much. On
Naked
this one.
Sports. Check it out next week on Instagram Live.
Yeah, we don't know when we're gonna be live streaming it yet. We talked about Tuesday, but we don't know when we're gonna do it yet. That information will be coming out soon. I'm actually going to be doing an article where I'm interviewing the owner of the company about all the stuff on Naked Sports. So look for that on sfbnri.com. That is sfbnri.com/articles.
Plus 240. That's all I'm saying. Last name.
You're a dick. So after those two fight nights, Edwards Muhammad, which I really do think that Edwards is going to have a good fight on his hands with Bilal Muhammad. Both men 18-3.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards with a slight reach advantage. But they're both stand-up guys, and Bilal Muhammad's an animal who just had like a knockout victory like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's not.
And then you got
Easy
Derek
opponent.
Brunson versus Kevin Holland. Can Derek Brunson stop another hype train in the middleweight division, or is Kevin Holland gonna?
The deal. Is he the real deal?
Is Kevin Holland gonna be trajected into like the top 6 of the middleweight division? Because that's what's gonna happen if he beats Brunson.
Dude, 6 wins.
And then after that,
in a year.
we have Stipe versus Francis Ngannou too. We also have Volkonovsky versus Ortega.
That's one I'm excited for.
We also have Woodley versus Vicente Luque. We have Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida.
Okay, the comeback.
Alonzo Mainfield is fighting William Knight in the light heavyweight. Mainfield is a knockout artist.
Mhm.
And that looks about it. Miranda Maverick versus Jillian Robinson is also there.
So did you talk about Nunez versus Anderson
Who's
yet?
that? Akbar
No.
Nagomedov?
Can we just give her some fucking props as to how amazing
Abubakar
champion she is?
Nurmagomedov.
Abubakar Nagomedov.
Abubakar?
Abubakar.
Is it beat Magomedov?
Dude. That
I'm
coach is
sorry. No,
fire.
you were talking about Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, how much of a fucking animal she is. Within like, what was it, 2 minutes of the first round?
Was it 2 minutes? I
Was
thought
it?
it was like a
I
minute
can't tell.
10.
It was quick.
I literally
It was like 2 punches.
I literally talked to this guy who said I work with him. I didn't even know he watched UFC. And he was like, yeah, I watched that Sterling fight and I was so pissed I went out to have a cigarette. By the time I came back, it was the main event. I'm like, I fucking missed Amanda Nunes. That shit was so quick.
literally
A great
dropped
fight.
this chick with the hands in less than a minute and then got on the ground and had her in 3 different submissions. She had her on a triangle from the back. It looked like some type of shoulder lock and then into an armbar. It
Yeah.
was fucking ridiculous.
Oh, it was-
Cejudo made his comeback.
Cejudo versus Amanda Nunes. Dana White, we want it.
Whatever you got to do, she probably agree to it.
She probably would.
She probably would. Not
Henry
gonna-
Cejudo apologized to Aljamain Sterling
Did, wow. Okay.
because of his post-fight comments. Oh, he addressed Piotr Jan's apology, is what it is. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't think Henry Cejudo's coming back. I doubt it.
I don't know why he wouldn't, but
I think Henry Cejudo should come back to fight Khabib.
Who?
Khabib.
Henry Cejudo?
Cejudo.
That's
No.
like a wrestling match.
No.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
You
that.
don't want to see a wrestling match
I'd like to
between
see.
Cejudo and
I'd like to
Nurmagomedov?
see that as a pure wrestling match, though.
Where are you gonna see that?
Fucking in one of these oddball organizations.
Where they're gonna pay each of them
Khabib's not gonna
40,000?
do that.
No. I would love to see Cejudo put on 30 pounds of muscle and fucking go to lightweight.
No way.
That would be crazy.
No way.
He wouldn't even have to really because he fought at 135, so he only has to put on 20 pounds.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen because Khabib would be walking in there at like 170.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine.
That would just
Wouldn't
be
happen.
fucked.
Yeah, but-
be like a Blackwoods out of Sunday type fight.
Dude, Cejudo has some great wrestling, man. He has
has
some
trouble.
great wrestling.
It'd be interesting to see Khabib on the opposite side of the pressure too.
Would it be?
Yeah, it would.
If we even saw it?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Me
From
too.
If anybody, can
Me
do it.
too, right,
Can we
yeah.
talk about?
Might have to have him fight like Brock Lesnar to get him under pressure, though.
Yeah.
I'd pay to watch that.
I like how we
A lot
talk
of
about
people
these
would.
like these lightweights fighting for the belt, but Khabib's still the champion.
I know.
We talk about like, oh yeah,
That's
Poirier's
some-
gonna fight this.
That's
guy for
some
the belt,
UFC bureaucracy right there, is
But
what it is.
it don't even matter if
Ridiculous.
Poirier fights that guy because guess what? He's still not gonna get the belt. Poirier's
And
the
it's-
closest ever beaten Khabib.
Poirier is the closest ever beaten Khabib for sure.
Michael Chandler could really be something against him.
I don't know. You
I-
never
I'm
even
gonna-
seen Michael
I'm-
Chandler on the ground.
I'm gonna need to see more from Chandler to say that.
Bellator
Oliveira
wrestling's
has a
nice.
good chance, only for the fact that Oliveira would get smothered by Khabib, but could possibly catch him in a choke from the bottom.
Yeah.
I
You know,
hope-
like
He's a ground wizard.
his jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
is very. It might be as good as Khabib's, but his wrestling isn't, and his stand-up probably isn't. And that's the only way people have advantages over Khabib is when they're standing up.
I think I hope people hype up Mike Chandler because as soon as I see Khabib, I'm racing to the casino. Racing.
For
Racing.
Chandler or for Khabib to beat Chandler,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't.
I'm racing with the suitcase of money, bro. Like
Dana needs to take Khabib away from being a champion. It's
Yeah.
holding up the division.
Yeah, it's a waste of
Gaethje
do
hasn't
it.
fought since November, and it's looking like Gaethje's not even going to get a title shot.
No, which is not fair because the vacated belt, he still should retain the number one spot.
Absolutely, he was the interim champ.
I think Poirier should get a chance.
Yeah, I think it should be Gaethje Poirier.
That's what it should be. That's
But
Or Charles
Joe
Oliveira,
Rogan-
Gaethje.
Joe Rogan came out and said that he thinks it should be Poirier Oliveira, and then rumors started escalating about that.
That would be great.
I don't want it. No, I don't think it would be. I think Poirier Gaethje.
I think
Why?
Oliveira,
Poirier-
Chandler,
Poirier, Gaethje.
Poirier, Gaethje.
Poirier, Oliveira, Chandler, Gaethje. That's what I think.
Now, let me ask
Chandler
you this.
Gaethje is a very
Let me ask you this: what has Chandler done to deserve a fight against Justin Gaethje?
Nothing. He's knocked out Dan Hooker in impressive fashion. But
He knocked
That's
him
his
Does
out.
that
first
mean it
fight in
deserves
the
to fight
UFC.
the number one contender of the division?
Bro,
I'd
you're
say
talking about
Charles Oliveira
this
is
guy
a
was
great
the-
matchup.
this guy was the backup to a championship fight.
Right.
His first fight in the UFC would have been a championship fight. You're telling me he's not gonna fight the number one contender? Where is he? He's not even the number one. He's the number two contender.
Oh, he is number two contender. You're right, but only because Poirier just won over
Yeah.
Connor.
So he's the number two contender.
So, all right, let me rephrase the question. What has Gaethje done to not deserve a title shot? He just hasn't
He lost.
gotten a win.
Yeah, he.
He lost to Khabib. Then none of these guys deserve
It would
title
be a
shots.
Yeah, I know,
it
well,
would
he
be-
lost,
It would
so-
be a good rematch, Gaethje versus Poirier, because Gaethje lost to Poirier, but it was a close fight. It really was.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board for Poirier Gaethje.
I don't see Poirier Khabib too.
Everybody would
Khabib's
love
not
to
coming
see-
back, bro.
I know,
would
but
love
I'm
to
just
see
saying.
Khabib's not coming back.
I think Khabib. That
He's
would be a
gone,
good
and he's
fight.
never coming
That would
back.
be the one fight I'd be like, maybe Dustin.
I mean, I'm still praying silently for DSP Khabib.
Do you think? What if we saw like?
dream about it. I know.
But dude, Poirier is gonna fight McGregor again.
Yeah, I know.
Like
that.
they've already talked about it. Like that's
Yeah.
what they're gonna do.
Dude, he's in it for the not.
He's in it for the hot sauce sales.
Yeah,
He's in it for the money,
I
dude.
tell you,
Someone, I think it was Oliveira, said he tweeted like, "I got offered, or we offered a title fight against Poirier, but it came back saying Poirier has other things in mind. Have to respect the
I
honesty."
don't believe that.
Well, I'm telling you what the tweet said. This is what the tweet said.
Twitter.
It came back that Poirier had other plans in mind and that he was going to turn the title fight down.
Yeah.
Don't know why you would do it, but respect it, champ. And Poirier said, "Thanks for saying that. Let me give you a link for the hot sauce." Like that's literally what the tweet conversation was. Poirier's going to fight McGregor again, probably by the end of this year.
Yeah, but not for the. Neither. They're not.
No,
Don't
it's
give a
not for the
fuck
belt.
what
No,
he
it's not for the
tweets.
belt.
None of them. None of them.
Just
for
a
the
money
Right.
card.
But now, does that mean it's Gaichi Oliveira for the title? Or do we just go a full year with no lightweight champion?
That can't happen.
You
It
say
might go-
can't.
it might
You
go-
say can't, but
belt. It could go 2
It
years.
shouldn't.
It
It
could go
shouldn't.
2
happen.
years.
you're right. It should.
It could go 2 years.
It really could. be
I think
dragged out.
it is beyond irresponsible.
Asinine.
I wouldn't say it's beyond asinine. It's bordering. It's borderline.
Borderline
asinine.
asinine. No chain.
No shade.
Champions are required one title fight per year, right? Like
That is
mandatory?
not contracted.
That's
No.
not a contracted thing.
No.
Okay.
Champions fight more than once a year because the UFC will threaten them with vacating their title if they don't fight over a year, which is what happened to Connor.
Okay.
But there's no, I don't believe so. I'm not a contract negotiator for UFC champions. I don't think I've ever seen a clause about that. And plus, when you have titles Stipe didn't defend his title for over a year.
Okay, that's something to work off of.
Like the second Cormier fight to the third one was like 14 months.
Yeah. We might be seeing a two-year drought, year-and-a-half drought.
And that sucks
That's
because
such a
this
good
division is so good that in 3
I know,
years,
but it could be-
there's going to be a new crop and these guys are all going to be
Yeah.
hurt.
Or
Old.
you're going to just stack the division even more. You're going to get all these guys fighting. You're going to get guys fighting good guys that drop and that, find their spot.
Well,
You
yeah,
got
but that's going to
newcomers
happen
coming up.
anyway.
I
Either
know,
way.
but
So
it's going
most-
to really happen. It's going to move like fucking quicksand now.
It's going to hurt people like Gaichi and Oliveira who aren't making money fights and now don't have a chance to fight for the title either.
And
All right,
let's look at
Gaichi
the ages.
loses again. Who does he fight? We're really inferencing, but if Gaichi loses, who does he fight?
If Gaichi loses to who? Oliveira?
Yeah. No, because I don't think he's gonna fight Oliveira. I think he's gonna fight Chandler.
You think Gaethje's going to fight Chandler? Okay,
I
so
do.
Gaethje loses to Chandler.
Because he was gonna fight him if someone got corona in the
If
first
Gaethje
place.
loses to Chandler, I think Gaethje fights. He could fight Tony again. I don't think he would.
Nah.
I think he would fight. By the way, Islam Makhachev
Yeah,
called out
called out.
Rafael dos Anjos.
like he's up and coming too. Like
Islam called him out?
Islam
And
called
he
out.
called out Tony? He was
called out
talk-
Tony?
Yeah, he was talking. He's
Oh,
like, I
shit.
would really like to shut that man
I want to
up 'cause
say
he talks
Rafael
a lot
dos
of bad
Anjos
stuff.
talked shit, and then Islam Makhachev called him out.
I'd like to see that.
Rafael dos
Rafael dos
Anjos.
Anjos is a great
Rafael
wrestler
dos
too.
Anjos versus Conor would be a great fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to watch
Dude,
that.
there's
no,
10
you're right.
fighters in this division that are solid.
Yeah, there are.
Solid.
Rafael dos Anjos, versus Islam would be a great fight to see.
I think Makhachev fucks him up.
I think he does. I think he beats him stand up.
Paul
No.
Paul
Yeah, I
Felder
think he
versus
does.
Dan Hooker.
No.
I think he does.
Dan Hooker's already beaten Paul Felder.
Rematch.
Forgot Paul Felder's still in there. Like he literally just went 5 rounds and lost by what? Split decision?
Yeah.
Was
He's
Rafael dos
commentating.
Anjos?
He doesn't even know if he wants to fight.
No, he's got the job now. That doesn't get your brain best.
Do you hear about Dominic Cruz getting in hot water with Dana?
Yeah. I did hear about
Right.
that.
And you remember the interview we watched where he called out Hans Mollenkamp?
Yeah.
So
Everyone has
there was
to
a point
beef
at
with
the
him.
there was a point at the end of the interview where you could see Joe Rogan like got something in his ear and he was like, "All right, I guess we can't talk about that anymore. It's too political." And Dominic Cruz goes, "It's not political. It's Monster Energy." Right to the camera.
Oh no.
It's quick 100K right there.
Yeah.
Fucking boom.
Gone.
Get some money.
Oh
No,
yeah,
like,
yeah. He
Dominic
kept-
Cruz
he
is
kept
getting
saying-
money for
He
that.
kept saying Monster Energy.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dominic Cruz is
This division is crazy though.
the bantamweight division is Dominic Cruz only went up to number 9, by the way, from being number 11.
Yeah, we talk shit.
Maybe.
Hey, you know what? That's a big fat paycheck for talking some shit.
Cody Sandhagen. Who does he fight?
Not only is Khabib
Corey Sandhagen.
not only is Khabib the lightweight champion, he's also number 1 on the pound for pound ranking still.
Yeah, even though all these fighters
He's
are moving
not
up.
going anywhere for at least a year and a half, 2 years, bro. I'm telling
What about Usman?
you.
Usman is 3. Miocic is 4. Volkanovski's 5. Adesanya 6. Volkanovski's 5.
Who's
Wow.
number 2?
John Jones.
Oh, John Jones. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Blachowicz is 8. Adesanya is 6.
Dude, John Jones versus Adesanya. Not as much hype.
It's a
now.
possibility.
Not as
Down
much
the road,
hype.
it
Not
is a
as much hype.
possibility.
John Jones is going to wreck his shit.
I believe he would.
And I'd put a Newport mansion on it.
It's sad to say this, but I don't think we see Adesanya Jones until, and I'm saying until because I believe this happens one day, John Jones loses. I think if John Jones loses, especially if it's for a belt,
Yeah.
especially if Adesanya has another fight in 205 before it happens, because Adesanya said he's going to go back to
he will go
205,
back.
Couple.
then I think we see Jones Adesanya. I think it's like when Adesanya's 35, Jones is 38.
Oh yeah, fuck. Those are not the right years.
That's
overdue.
3 years away.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
3 years away.
It's so sad. We're seeing this
Right.
goat age
Right.
in John Jones.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Stop crying.
All right. So we didn't talk about UFC 260 much. I just want to brush over it real quick.
So let's do it.
Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou, 2
Let's go.
for the main event.
Who y'all got?
Stipe.
Go ahead, say it.
You said Ngannou before. It's no surprise.
Bro, talked about this with my father. Granted, oh puff puff.
Well, puff puff.
Oh puff puff. But
Well, pass.
dude, and pass. And it's just like now he's had time, dude. He's had time.
Ngannou is 4 years younger. Will have a 3-inch reach advantage.
He's had time and he is fucking strong. Have you seen that Overeem fight?
Can
Have
I
you
tell you
seen that
something though?
fight?
Can I tell
Have
you
you
something
seen
though?
that
Can I
uppercut?
tell you something? That Overeem fight was before the first Miocic fight.
Yeah.
It was before it.
Bro, he's had time. And like,
Can I tell you something else? Who do you think Ngannou's last loss was to?
Other than Stipe? Oh, wait.
Don't say it. You know it.
It's a funny. It's a funny.
damn, who did he lose to? No, we've talked about this before.
Derek Lewis.
Is it Derek Lewis? Wow.
My balls.
But do you think
That wasn't that
Stipe,
fight.
I know,
do you
I
think Stipe has more power than Derek Lewis?
No.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Do I
Fights
think
at
Stipe is a
245.
better wrestler than do I think Stipe is a better wrestler than Ngannou and Lewis combined?
Yeah,
Probably.
He's a better fighter than both.
I think he's tough as nails. I think Ngannou's going to have to hit him with the perfect shot and probably 2 or 3 of them to knock him out. And I think that Ngannou better do it quickly because if Miocic realized that Ngannou's going for a haymaker, Ngannou's going to be on his back
Yeah.
before he can land
He's
it.
just going to clinch up and take him down.
this is one of those fights when afterwards you're like, so fucking obvious.
Can I say
But it's
this?
just like-
Can I say this? I would associate Derek Lewis's power with Daniel Cormier's. I believe they have the same power.
Yeah.
Really?
I also believe
Fat
that
guy power.
I also believe that Cormier's wrestling is 10 times
yeah.
better than probably even Stipe's. Cormier might be the greatest wrestler to ever be in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like that, like
Could be-
two-time wrestling Olympic
Could be.
gold medalist, and he was the captain of both of those teams.
Henry Cejudo.
Wow. Yeah.
Henry Cejudo's a gold medalist too.
I know.
Gold
Gold
medalist. He's a gold
medalist
medalist. 1 gold. Cormier's 2.
Youngest.
That's 2 gold medals in the Olympics. That's what, like 8 years?
Yeah, right. It might have been at the same event.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It might have been like freestyle and amateur,
Yeah, okay.
maybe.
He's top 3.
Cormier,
Yeah,
I agree.
easily top
Right.
3. Like not even a question. No question.
Well, he had great strikes.
And Miocic,
in his own way.
Miocic took shots from Cormier, dude. If Miocic pokes Ngannou in the eye, Miocic is gonna win.
He should. Game plan.
If Ngannou pokes Miocic in the eye.
Now let me ask
Ngannou-
you this: if Miocic pokes Ngannou in the eye, does Miocic lose the title?
No. Depends how bad.
If the fight can't continue because Ngannou's eyes fucked
if
up?
it was on purpose. Because the Piotr Jan was totally different.
It'd be a
It was
DQ,
totally different. The man
Be a
was on the
DQ.
ground. He needed him in the face.
I still haven't given an answer.
I don't.
Well, do you want me to move on?
No, I don't know who's gonna win this fight.
All right, then we can move
But
It's
going with the champion.
on. Okay. Alexander Volkanovsky versus Brian Ortega.
Ortega.
Volkanovsky.
Volkanovsky.
Yeah, I got Volkanovsky, but I'm chanting Ortega.
He did look good in his 2-year comeback return, or year and a half, 2 years, was it?
Here's the thing. You know how the old moniker in the UFC is always so fucked up because if fighter A beats fighter B beats fighter C, then fighter A should be better than C.
Yeah.
But normally C beats A, and then it's just a circle of people beating other people.
There's too many dimensions
Like,
to the
wait,
fighting.
what's going on in the lightweight division?
Right. Volkanovski beat Holloway twice. He's the only person to beat Holloway twice.
Mhm.
Mind you, Ortega's only lost once to Holloway, and it was the second worst beating ever. And that's only because Holloway just beat Calvin Kattar more than he beat Ortega.
That was brutal.
It's literally the 2 most strikes absorbed. Brian Ortega's number 2, Calvin Kattar's number 1, both against Max
Probably
Holloway.
say-
still in the hospital bed.
Interesting fact. Max Holloway didn't spar one time for that Calvin Kattar fight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Did not spar one time the entire fight.
That's how he could take so much damage because he hadn't had any damage in months previous.
Yeah, but
Max
every
Holloway-
fighter spars.
No,
so
Max
that's
Holloway-
what's crazy about it. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah.
Well, he also
No,
had
he's
the
the
years.
only fighter to never spar.
He had the
for a
years of sparring.
He's sparred for fights.
Yeah.
No,
he
no,
recently cut
he
it
didn't
out.
spar one time for a fight. Every fighter
Okay,
spars
got it.
up to a fight.
Okay.
he did it.
for this.
You know,
fight.
Max Holloway
because
learned
of COVID.
combinations from UFC video game.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And his first
Anyway.
kickboxing fight 2 weeks in.
Anyway, Volkonovsky beat Holloway twice. Second one, I don't think he deserved, but he beat him. Stand up the whole time. That's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He went 10 rounds with Holloway, and they stood up the entire time. If Ortega can go to the ground, we might see something. But if it stands up, I got Volkanovski all the way. Vicente Luque versus Tyron Woodley. This is a changing of the card, gentlemen.
Yeah, Vicente Luque.
Vicente Luque. But we can't talk about it. Heavy underdog for Tyron.
Right.
It's kind of crazy, and it's
That's because Woodley's 38 and he's lost his last 2 fights. His last 2 fights, by the way, are to the top 2 contenders of that division.
That's what I
Colby
mean.
and Gilbert Burns.
That's what I mean. I would. It's hard not to choose Woodley.
Can I
48
actually?
ain't old.
Actually,
48 is not old.
it's not very old. Actually, if I'm thinking of this correctly, I believe the person he lost to before Covington and Burns was Usman.
This guy, he's a boring ass fighter, but I mean,
He's
wins.
another one that's another
Great
top
wrestler.
10 wrestler. Yeah. Yep. Last losses to Usman, Burns, and Covington.
Jesus Christ.
While he was champ, before he was champ, he beat Kelvin Gastelum. Then he won the belt from Robbie Lawler, tied with Wonderboy Thompson, beat Wonderboy, beat Damian Maya, beat Darren Till.
That's a laundry list.
wow, he
Beat
beat
Darren
Darren
Till.
Till. Wow, that's a good
And then he
fight.
lost to Usman, Burns, and Covington. And now you have this kid, Vicente Luque, who I believe is under 30. Vicente Luque is 29.
Okay.
Vicente Luque is a stand-up guy. He's not I don't know too much about his wrestling, but I do know that he's a stand-up guy.
That could go to Woodley, dude.
I think it's Woodley.
Yeah, you guys are.
Have I just convinced you
No,
guys
wait.
into it?
Well, you've swayed.
Yeah,
Because
what do you
I
mean?
don't even know.
What do you mean?
Because
Give me
I
some
don't
credit.
even know.
But you're making some good points, though.
I totally am, but Luque is younger and can knock Woodley out, and Woodley's lost 3 in a row.
You were telling me that Luque was going to win.
That's what I think, but I've been talking about this fight, and I'm like, Woodley's
Woodley.
a fucking chance.
He's a heavy underdog.
Sean O'Malley,
It's like,
Thomas Almeida.
I'd rather put money on him.
Sean O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley. Don't even question
Come
it.
back
Just
fight.
go. Just don't even question it. It's kind of funny how he has that hair. Because Dana White's probably like, yeah, I'm going to make you look dumb.
Thomas Almeida has lost 3 fights in a row in 4 of his last 5.
He's about to lose.
You see, I
The
remember-
last fight he won, was in November of 2016 against
Holy shit.
Albert Morales.
How did he get rid of Yoel Romero and kept this guy?
Because Yoel Romero wanted more money per fight.
Yeah. There goes that money thing with the UFC.
Overeem.
Now, the guys that Almeida has lost
to.
to, are good, except this one guy. I don't know who Jonathan Martinez is.
Just some guy named John.
Yeah. I got Sean O'Malley.
Okay.
All right, and by the way, after
Who
that,
you got though? Woodley? You got. I said Woodley. Who do you got?
That just convinced me Woodley. I was going Vicente.
I'm going to say Luque because every fight that I've been predicting has been wrong. So, the only fight I got right, actually, I got Nunes and Sterling right.
Yeah, you did.
And
So-
you got. Did you?
Yeah, you got
Did you choose
Sterling
the
right.
under? No,
And
you
I got
choose the
Dominic Cruz, but I didn't get Thiago Santos. So I did
I
like
thought Dominic
50-50
Cruz
in the
was
last
Thiago
one.
Santos fight, guys. That was the worst fight
That
I've
was
ever seen at that weight class.
bad,
Oh,
man.
that
That
was
was
awful.
so
It was
bad.
a touch fest. That's what it was. It was a touch fest. There was no significant blow landed that I saw.
All right, but we're going to get out of here. Ocean State Athlete Podcast hosted by Chris Carbone Jr. is coming up next. Show him some love. That's going to about do it for us. We're going to be back next week. Only 2 more podcasts until UFC 260. We're going to see 2 more belts. We're going to be talking about that a lot. We'll actually dive into UFC 259 more because we didn't get to touch on it too much.
Oh, yeah.
Adesanya had his first defeat. We haven't even talked about Adesanya. Adesanya is lost for the first time in MMA.
We could go on for another hour.
But yeah, we can't, and I don't want to. So
neither do I.
we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday for SFBNRI. You're watching MMA Complete. Go check out our YouTube channel and our Twitter channel, and check out Naked Sports on IG Live when we launch next week for MMA Complete and Bet the Deed podcast. Thank everybody for coming through. Rob is not on camera. Rob's
Thank you very
been
much.
yeah. All right, we're gonna get out of here.
Live fan.
Live fan. Woo! MMA Complete.
MMA Complete.
That should say every Thursday night. What the fuck?
Let's say Friday.
It says Friday.
Oh man.
What the hell?
I don't get it. My little thing in the corner says Thursday night. I hope it does say Thursday night. Yeah.
Somebody's playing some games.
Well, if you have a magnifying glass.
Check out Naked Sports.
Yeah, that's gonna be lit. Bet
All
the
right.
Deed pod.
Uncut.
And what's the name? What's your?
I haven't come up with
Oh,
it
okay,
yet.
never
I'm
mind.
not gonna be launching that for a couple weeks anyway. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you.